Today is March 11th. I'm Willie.
And I'm Brian.
And we are Shootin The Shift. And today is a very special Holy Jesus Geneva episode.
Holy shit, Geneva, I like to call it.
Yeah, we can call it that.
Holy
that
shit,
sounds
Geneva.
pretty good.
Holy shit,
yeah,
Geneva.
I mean, like,
Holy shit.
how much deliciousness can come out of 1 week, or almost 2 weeks. I mean, I think we have a year's worth of car news in like 2 weeks, which is absolutely insane and amazing at the same time.
Let's get into it, man. It's gonna be tough.
Let's talk Bugatti.
Yeah, let's talk, definitely.
The Chiron Sport was unveiled at Geneva, and I'm in love. I may mortgage my house, sell my wife.
Can you sell your wife?
I think she'd go for a good amount of money. She's pretty marketable.
Is that black market or
No, I think we can. It doesn't have to be black market.
it's just market.
No, yeah. I mean, I'll have to pay the taxes on whatever I sell her for, so we'll do it legit.
Got it.
But I think that the house, I'll get rid of the GT2, and if you're cool with it, I'm gonna have to sell some of your organs. But other than that,
Sweet.
But
Listen,
we'll get to share the car though.
That's true. So we'll be able to take Bitcoin, Litecoin, any of those things. Yeah, whatever you got, we'll take it.
We'll start a GoFundMe. We'll see how it goes. Maybe some people will chip in.
More like go fund the car.
Yeah, I think if we get $1 from each American citizen, and actually if we get $1 from each illegal person in the United States, I think we'll be all right.
We can offer them a ride in the car,
and we'll work out a deal with Trump. And then as soon as we get our $1 from them, he'll deport them. Oh, okay, that
was too much, too gray, it's too dark.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's get back on the cars.
Well, I mean, that's
we were on road, and now we're somewhere like in Utah, desert, broken down.
Chiron Sport. What do you think?
I mean, even for a car, in my opinion, that has a lot, it's simply beautiful. It really is. It's a triumph in what is physically possible when you really put your mind to it. We all know that the people at Bugatti make this look easy.
Yeah, it's what's possible when somebody just says, "I'm gonna do this because I can."
No, when someone just says, "Fuck it."
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, I was trying to put it nicely.
No. It's just
all right, yeah.
When you look at this car,
it should be called the Bugatti Fuck It.
Yeah,
that's what it should be
definitely
called.
Yeah. Or and then the next one would just be the Bugatti What Now?
Yeah. It's insane. I mean, it's just the stuff that they're doing is amazing, and it's not just the power, because the power is something, 16 cylinders, 4 turbos, 10 radiators.
It's a numbers car.
It's a numbers car, but it's not numbers for nothing. It actually delivers. Which we're yet to see what it can actually do. But it's only going to be better than the Veyron Super Sport, which was insane.
So if the same guy that designed the Veyron just put in maybe like 20 additional hours into this car, for sure it'll be...
Yeah. I mean,
you put in overtime for this.
I mean, the design, everything is beautiful about it. I mean, obviously this car is based off of the Chiron. It's a Chiron Sport, so it's the sportier version, faster, lighter. Right. Typically has a higher top speed than the regular Chiron,
right?
But it still has a lot of the normal amenities of the regular car. You still got AC in there. You got wipers. You've got, comfortable seating.
What I personally like about Bugatti, it keeps the customers or their clientele are always on their toes, because as soon as they think that they have the fastest car in the world, they come up with a sport version.
Yeah, I mean, to stay relevant, they gotta keep pushing the envelope. Bugatti's their segment is the top speed hypercar segment. This is not designed to be the fastest car around the Nürburgring. It's not a.
I mean, it's always been a staple since the beginning of that company for you to have their car in your driveway. I mean, it started off as a track car, okay, like to compete with your Fords and stuff like that, and like the racing of that day. But eventually they started competing with Rolls Royces and stuff like that, where they had this was a car of luxury. And as you can see, the front grille of every more modern Bugatti is the old grille of the first car.
Correct.
So they're still keeping that sense into it, and this is a car that's very luxurious, and they've just decided to, hey, we're gonna hire some people who really don't have a sensibility, to be honest, and just let them go have at it. And this is what we got.
Well, they've like I said, they solidified that segment where they basically with the Veyron, they created this this car that had the highest top speed of a production car at that particular point in time.
Right.
And that's basically, you know, now their marketing tool is, okay, every car we come out with is going to be the car with the highest top speed.
Right.
And we're going to do it in luxury. You're going to feel comfortable if you want to do that.
Right.
You know, but it's never, I don't think they're, not to say they won't ever do it, but I don't think they're really interested in making a fast track car. They want to push the limits when it comes to top speed and pushing the laws of physics and showing the world how fast a land car, a production car can go.
I really hope they're not going to be pushing anything.
No,
Right?
I'm not sure if they'll push anything, but if you get one of these cars, you'll get a lot of puss.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah. Definitely a puss magnet. What I will say is that they do have an art in which they're the only people in this or any manufacturer in this category is they push the envelope and they set the benchmark for everybody else, because we are experiencing a race of,
yeah,
you know, it's an epidemic now where people just want to get to the fastest car, you know, and Bugatti has just managed to do it in pure style and say, listen, this is what we've got. And, you know, it's not bad. It's nothing crazy. But you guys, you know, and then you're like, Jesus, come on.
Yep.
You know? And everybody's just playing catch up until they catch up. And then they're like, we got a little something for you. This is the new 500 mile an hour. And you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for a lot of these manufacturers now is fastest time at the Nürburgring. That's like the thing. Everybody wants to have the fastest time. But I think, you know, at least from what I can see, Bugatti's not interested in that. They're like, listen, you guys keep doing your Nürburgring lap times. Yeah. We're going to keep doing the fastest top speed and making these jaw-dropping poster cars.
And I'm glad you touched on that, because if you look at the earlier models, yes, for the time they came out, they were kind of like the Veyron and the Chiron of their day. But this competes with the Lamborghinis and you know, your childhood poster cars. It really does.
No, absolutely. I think it's ridiculous. I think these are like, for me, it's almost like a kind of like what you get from the Wyra and those cars where it is, you look at the interior, you look at the exterior, it is a work of art. It really is. The car is just something where what that person drew on a piece of paper actually manifested itself onto the car.
They even get into the fine detail.
Yeah, the fine details.
It's very detailed. I honestly think they to close this off, the gentleman responsible with the clay of molding this before they even thought about production, they gave him a block of clay, all right? Gave him a nice set and said, listen, do what you want.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Well, they made it work. and they made it work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because it's not the only top speed car that's out there. I mean, we had Hennessy unveil a car as well that, you know, it's yet to be seen what the real top speed is going to be. But it's supposed to be another top speed type car, obviously coming out of the U.S., small automaker, obviously very famous. Hennessy is famous globally, not just in the United States.
Right.
And he's having a crack at making his own car from scratch. This is the first one we see, which is the Venom F5. It looks beautiful to me. I think it's a really good looking car. I mean, it's really his second car, but this is the first one that he built from scratch. And I think he hit the mark, to be honest. It's really, really nice. I want to say the price point on this thing is like 1.6?
Yeah, 1.6 million.
Yeah. So apparently they're all sold out. So I'm super curious in seeing, you know, what the top speed on this thing is going to be. The current record for top speed is set by the Koenigsegg Agera RS. I want to say 277.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain the Chiron Sport is going to break that. I'm interested to see what the Venom F5 is going to be able to do.
You know what? I mean, yes, the Chiron, you know, is a fast car. It's a numbers car, but What about the weight of that car, man? Like, we are talking about V16. Like, this is a heavy car, and we've seen it in the past where a lot of cars from, you know, in a straight line, they'll get away from it because it's got to drag that weight, and it's got the power behind it, but you know, top speed is where it's at for that car, obviously, and to where the acceleration of most cars usually beats that car. But once you start getting to the long end, and that's it, it's a wrap for anything that, you know, that even comes close.
I think for top speed, and again, I am by no means an expert in this, but I'm almost certain that when you do get into those speeds of close to 300, you do need some weight, actually. Because the wind alone, I mean, you need to have a certain amount of weight to get past, you know, 277, 250. So again, this is not the Chiron is not a track car. To a certain extent, yeah, they need to be light, but they also need to have a certain amount of weight to actually, you know, get to those speeds.
Right.
I think the Venom looks. I think it looks amazing.
It's definitely an improvement from their first car. That's for sure.
It looks. I mean, it looks beautiful, and this is actually what we're looking at is what it's going to look like. This is the production version of that car. I mean, that's what the end customer is going to get.
Yeah.
And man, I wish them the best. To be honest, I think it's. I'm curious to see what it can do. I think it looks really cool. The rear looks very, very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
The front, I mean, from every angle, the car looks awesome. It really does.
And we're starting to see is America or U.S., you know, lunatics, I like to call them, like the supercar makers and the guys who come up with these ideas, actually putting up a fight and becoming contenders versus the ladies and gentlemen around, you know, across the pond, because there's not a lot of options in the U.S. You got your GT40s and stuff like that, but that's, even if you put GT40, the Hennessy, maybe a Viper, and the top line Corvette, that's what, 4 or 5 cars?
Yeah, I mean, the 4GT just came out, which is, you know, it pains me to say it, but they're not only is the car around the track, it seems to be a great car. I don't particularly like the noise of it.
It's dominating.
Yeah, I think the V6 turbo sound is not something that thrills me. I'm not a huge turbo guy.
Right.
I'm more of a naturally aspirated guy, but I get why cars have to go that route.
Right.
But they really are dominating in the motorsport world. And so is Corvette and Cadillac. I mean, at least on the prototype series, they're doing really well. So I mean, I applaud them. I hope that all the technology that they're putting into motorsport ends up on the actual road cars, which is typically what happens. So we should be seeing some really interesting stuff coming out of the U.S. In terms of cars, in terms of their actual road cars. I think we're going to see some cool stuff.
Share with the ladies and gentlemen at home how much it pained you to say that Corvette's doing good.
Yeah, there's stuff like churning inside me right now. But hey, I give kudos when kudos is due, man. If they're doing well, they're doing well. And yeah, it's you know, I'm a big Porsche guy, so it pains me to see them lose ever. But it's racing is racing, and But you know, not to get too far off the topic, Hennessy nailed it. And that leads us into going from motorsport. Actually, it is kind of a segue, actually, because going from motorsport into one of the motorsport greats of all time, Mr. Ayrton Senna. McLaren has dedicated their next hypercar and named it the Senna. We've obviously already seen that unveiled previously. At Geneva, they unveiled the Senna GTR. They also unveiled the Senna MSO, which is insane, almost entirely made up of carbon fiber,
piece of paper on wheels,
which is crazy. But that's what you get from McLaren special operations. They have special in their name, so that's how they do it.
So for those of you at home who don't know what the hell we're talking about, Mercedes has AMG. MSO is the AMG like department of McLaren, as if the very efficient, very clean, and practices and pencils go here, and they must be aligned perfectly. Style that McLaren has needs an insanity group, but they do. They have one, and they created an insane car, which is already insane.
So the Senna GTR is obviously the more track focused version of the Senna,
right?
Which is gonna be lighter. It's gonna be faster. It should set an insane time on the Nürburgring.
Or a fly off.
We'll see. It should rip the pavement off the track.
Right.
But we'll see what it does. It looks insane. I don't love the looks of it. I don't like the looks of the Senna. So obviously I don't like the GTR either. This is one of those cars that you either love it or you hate it. But it's not really designed to be visually appealing. It's designed to set the fastest time around the track. And I am almost certain that it will, and I can't wait to see it.
I honestly think that cars like this that may hit the streets, eventually they're just going to be like UFOs, but on the streets.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is shaped by aerodynamics. The car, usually car makers, they'll have a concept. The struggle, as far as I've been told and as far as I've read, the struggle is usually between the designers and the actual people who have to make the car that's on paper and have to make it work. So there's always a struggle between the actual design team, the aerodynamics team, and they have to kind of try to compromise on both sides to make a car that works. As far as I know, on this car, there was no compromise on aerodynamics whatsoever. It was completely shaped by aerodynamics for the most part. So that's why it has such an odd look, is due to that particular fact.
Well, people like it. So
and
everybody had that same opinion when the P1 came out. They were like, Jesus, like it was something different. That spoiler and the backlights, and it looks like someone gutted out the rear.
I thought the P1 was amazing. So I thought that, I mean, the looks of that car were amazing, but that car had to compromise.
But it is the soft introduction into what can be as far as the weird department on a car.
Yeah,
definitely.
This car, to me, ugly, horrendous. I don't. But it'll be. I think the reason they named it the Senna is because he was the fastest guy on track when he was on track. This is going to be, if you're on a track and this car is on the track, it'll be the fastest. It should be anyways. If not, they made it ugly for no reason. So, and then the other one, which I actually like a little bit better, I like the MSO Senna, the looks of it, maybe because I like carbon fiber. Who doesn't?
Right.
I think that one looks super cool. In fact, on the Senna MSO, which I thought was super cool, a video we saw earlier, they actually have accents of I want to say they had some green, they had some yellow,
they had the green
calipers
and the yellow
and
accents,
yellow little accents, which are the Brazilian flag for Ayrton Senna. I thought that was super cool.
Which, for those who do not desire the loud lifestyle, they're kind of tucked in, so you have to kind of be on the side of the car or maybe in front of it to see like half of them, but they're kind of tucked in a way so they're discreet. But they are very nice as far as a design touch to commemorate the gentleman, one of the fastest and most loved Formula One drivers of all time.
Yeah, well, he was loved by everybody except for
Alain Prost.
Alain Prost. So moving on.
On the subject of that, ladies and gentlemen, there might be a new F1 coming, and no, not Formula One, a McLaren F1.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
we forgot to touch on that.
Yeah,
it's the BP23.
I'll tell you right now. It is the BP23.
BP23,
the Hyper GT is what they're calling it.
Correct. Was announced at Geneva. Same time as the announcement or the unveiling of the Senna GT.
Yes.
Senna GTR.
Yes.
This is supposed to be the successor to the McLaren F1. Obviously, one of the most famous. No, I would say McLaren's most famous car or road car, anyways.
Right.
It's going to be a 3-seater as well, as just like the same one. It looks just like the first one. It looks like this one's actually going to be based off the 720S, at least based off the spy shots that we've seen,
right?
Of a 720S or 720-esque looking car,
right,
with a middle seat.
And from what we've read so far, the engine specs are going to be like the P1 if the P1 was taking steroids.
Correct.
So just let that kind of sink in for a little bit.
Yeah, this is going to be the F1 was it was supposed to be an F1 style car, hence the name.
Right.
Where you're sitting in the middle of the car. It was a top speed car. We'll see what this one can do. We don't have a lot of information. They literally just announced this last week.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be. I mean, McLaren makes amazing cars.
Yes.
McLaren's only issue is a lot of their cars depreciate, except for the very, very limited production cars typically do well in the market. But their regular road cars typically, I mean, you can buy one at $300,000 today.
Right.
And as soon as you drive it off the lot, you lost like 60 grand.
Right.
So it's just the depreciation on those cars is crazy. That's honestly what's kept me away from those cars on the used car market. It's not bad because you can get the technology in those cars is
insane.
Amazing.
It's scientists doing what scientists do.
And but I think once they get that depreciation issue sorted, I think they're going to be. I mean, they have a really bright future ahead of them. I mean,
they've made
except for in the F1 world. But other than that, so.
They're working on it. They're working on it. Not everybody can be Mercedes right now, right? They're working on it.
They had their time. They
might come back. I still got faith. All right.
They were winning back-to-back championships. They had their time.
Listen,
it is time.
I have a Honda team jacket. All right. In my
well, you mean
it's stored away. Right?
Honda Toro Rosso? Because they're no longer with McLaren. So.
I know.
So.
No, just Honda.
Right,
just a Honda jacket.
Just making sure.
But just to touch base and kind of conclude on the whole McLaren topic, I guess they announced they're making 106 first productions, right, for their early clients, and they're already sold. Each and every one.
But that's not big news.
It's not.
Most of these, I would say, if not all of these limited production cars,
right?
And when I say, let me rephrase, ultra limited production cars, they're usually all sold out when they announce a car. So I mean, the Hennessy sold out, the BP23 sold out. So I'm not surprised that they're selling out, because what these companies do is they reach out to their VIP clients,
right?
When they're like, hey, we're thinking about making this car. Would you be interested? And they're like, absolutely, I'll put a deposit down right now. And then by the time the clients don't even know what they're making.
Right.
They're just like, hey, we're making this BP23. It's a F1 successor. Would you like to buy it? And
right.
Like, absolutely, I would buy it.
Right.
So I'm not surprised about that. And taking the whole F1 route, since we went through all that.
Like hopscotch.
We have the 488 Pista, which was also unveiled at Geneva.
Yes.
To me, they finally, Ferrari, like, if you're out there, finally, thank you for making this amazing looking car. It is. I wish you would have kept it naturally aspirated. I know that's asking too much, but I hope, please, that this car sets some crazy lap times. If it doesn't, I would suggest that you guys pack everything up and just call it a day, because everybody else is bringing the heat. You need to bring the heat. Ferrari, I want you to bring the heat. Please bring it in everywhere. F1, road cars, get back. I want to see red everywhere. I want to see where, like, Ferrari's bringing it. And that way, that bravado that you guys have will actually have a little bit of weight behind it.
I said it once, and I'll say it again. Ferrari doesn't need to be competing. They're not in that race. They're not worried about the Nuremberg times. They're not worried about 400-mile-an-hour car. They're not worried about that stuff because they are Ferrari.
I beg to differ, because in F1, when they were doing bad,
Okay.
They fired everybody except for the janitor and the crafting table people. And started over.
Correct.
And so, no, because actually Sergio Macchioni, the CEO of Ferrari, he actually, every time they go to, what's the Italian Grand Prix? Where's that held at?
Is it Monza?
Monza.
Yeah.
They go to Monza. They do the Italian Grand Prix. They lose in front of their home crowd.
Okay.
Like he always throws a shit fit about it.
Okay.
Ferrari doesn't like to lose. I'm sorry. When you have that kind of prestige, you don't want to lose.
Right, but you just proved my point. You're talking about Formula One. I'm talking about production cars. No, but production cars. You'll see more Ferraris on the road than Lamborghini. Guaranteed. No, you would. You would. As a stylish, out of the box, someone who just wants to make a statement, Ferrari is the way to go. And they've been striving on that from the very beginning of them producing very nice, luxurious cars.
I'll say right now, I see more Lamborghinis than I do Ferraris because of since the Gallardo and the Huracan.
Okay, I will side with you on that. Yes, it became a little bit more attainable to get the Gallardo, the Huracan, some Aventadors, things like that. But as far as California's, so basically the comparison now would be the California. It would be the 458. You saw some 458s out there. What I'm saying is that I don't think in the near future you're going to see something that's going to compete. Okay, they tried with the trifecta. They tried with the LaFerrari. Okay, and yes, they put up a fight, but the other companies are not only making standard cars, but they are in the pursuit of that race. They want to be contenders in that race.
Yeah.
So to them, their only thing is to make exotic cars.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
I mean, I buy that and I don't because again, Ferrari is they want to win everything. The problem is, I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why they can't make cars go fast. They should be able to. The issue is that Ferrari is, and I'm not going to say recently. I'm going to say probably in the last, I would say probably in the last 15 years or so, cars are heavily reliant on aerodynamics.
Right.
Ferrari was always a company that was, I have a car, I have a big engine, and we're going to go fast. I don't care about aerodynamics. The car's going to go fast.
Right.
So they've had to play catch up on that side.
Right.
Catch up. They're red. You got it? All right.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not a father. He has plenty of dog jokes, a lot of dad jokes for sure. Jesus Christ.
So to me, it's something where they've had to play catch up, and they're behind all these companies like McLaren and Porsche, who have always have had a strong emphasis on aerodynamics, which is very important for cars that want to go faster on the track.
Correct.
So yeah, but my thing is, can't they just hire some people from Germany or the UK that'll fix these issues?
No. And I expressed this in the last show. The reason for them kicking back and saying, "Oh well, we're Ferrari and we're basically the bee's knees," the birth of Lamborghini.
But that doesn't sell cars. To a certain extent, yes, it is Ferrari, but that's not going to sell cars, because if you're in a Ferrari and you're in a 488 Pista and a GT2 RS pulls up next to you, that's half the price.
Okay.
And is a equally as beautiful looking car.
Okay.
And you get left behind at the light, or you get lapped around the racetrack.
Okay.
Let me tell you that guy in that 48 is not gonna feel great about the $400,000 car that he just bought.
So then, okay, I'm really glad you brought this up. What about that same GT2 RS next to a 1,000 horsepower Civic?
Yeah, but we're talking about production cars, not a modified car.
No, correct.
These are not modified cars.
But you're talking about the difference between the money.
No. I'm just saying that those two cars are at the same level. The GT2 RS is close to $300,000. That was $400,000. I mean, it's close,
right?
And they're both track focused cars, track focused production cars, no modifications, no anything.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say that person's not gonna feel great about the purchase they just made. It should be something where, for instance, you take a 720S and you take a GT2 RS, They're going to be pretty close, probably.
Right. My thing with Ferrari is that you can look at the lineup from the very first ones to now, right? There is not a hint of wanting to be fast. Like there is, but just not as not like Porsche, not like Lamborghini, not like these companies that are in the pursuit of that because they want a stylish car.
So then there's no point for a pista. Just make a 488.
Because like you said, they've gotten off the couch and said, we got to do something about it. But in the lineup of cars, they've never been in that pursuit because they have the engine noise, they have the exhaust, they have the styling of the car, they have the history. Like back then, when all these companies were non-existent or irrelevant, the car to have as a statement of you was a Ferrari.
Okay, so as long as men exist, and I don't want to get this into a gender thing, but I think humans in general are very competitive.
I agree.
No one likes to lose.
I agree.
Least of all, Ferrari, who has a huge motorsport history where they did win a lot of races back in the day.
Okay.
Especially F1, the Schumacher days, not just and in a lot of racing series. They did very well.
Yeah, GT3 as well.
Don't make a track focused car if it's not going to do well on the track. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so
like, what's the point? Like Porsche brings the heat when they bring out an RS version of a car.
Because Porsche,
even Lamborghini. Look at the Performante. The Performante before the 2RS. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Was the fastest car around the Nürburgring.
Okay.
Before the GT2RS was actually set their lap time.
Right.
Which was faster by 10 seconds.
Correct. All the car manufacturers you're mentioning right now are cars who's striving to be fast. Porsches are track-ready cars for the streets.
Ferrari strives to be fast. They just can't do it. It's just something where they just can't. I don't know what and I want them to be fast. Don't get me wrong.
Dude, no, I want them as well. I'm just letting you know their mentality, and I'm super accurate about that. So it is the Italian way.
And you may be right, but that's stupid.
Oh. Yes. Okay. I agree.
I'm not saying it's not their mentality. I'm just saying that that's a stupid mentality to have when you're trying to sell cars.
Correct.
What's the best way to sell cars? How Porsche does it, or how does Lamborghini do it? We have the fastest car around the track. Period. Prove us wrong.
And then next month,
and then people are like, "I want the fastest car around the track. I want to buy that." Oh. That's how it goes.
I guess.
And oh wow, it's $200,000 less than the slower 488 Pista. I'll take two.
No, let's see. I hope you're right. To be honest, I mean
I know I'm going to be disappointed, and I hate that I am.
I just don't want to see the signature style, to go away from Ferrari. I don't want to see it.
I am going to cry the day that they set the production Nürburgring lap time. I'll shed one tear.
I'm happy for you on that.
I'm going to shed one tear.
All right. Now that we're talking about that.
Tears?
No.
Oh.
The Nürburgring.
Okay.
Let's talk about Mercedes and their Project One.
Yes.
Okay.
Gladly.
The bosses, and the bean counters, and the scientists, and AMG, and pretty much all of Germany are trying to predict, or they do predict and say, that the Project One is going to be the fastest thing ever on the Nürburgring. Okay.
The Nürburgring? That's a building that they have.
No, well, in the middle of the Nürburgring, there's a shack that sells wings.
Okay. So
that's why.
So you set a couple laps, you get hungry,
correct,
and then they have wings.
It's like the pit doesn't have any. They have water.
Germans were into wings. I didn't know.
Yes, of course.
Thought that was a U.S. thing. Thought that was a Rick Ross thing. Really?
No.
Okay.
Wingstop, please sponsor us. Oh,
boss. So
get better, by the way. All right. So it's bold. I know
that 6:11 time. That's the fastest time period around the Nürburgring.
Period. Like doesn't matter what set it.
Yeah, production.
A pigeon set.
Non-production.
Yeah.
Honda Civic with 8 million horsepower. It doesn't matter. Like that's the fastest time
period
ever
set by anything.
So that's
sick.
And I'm gonna go out and say this. Germans are usually very understated. They'll usually they're
not cocky about things.
No, like for instance, like Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, they typically understate their numbers, horsepower, torque, all that stuff is usually lower than what it actually is. If you were to dyno the car, you would find that the actual power of the car is a little bit more than what they actually advertise.
Right.
So if they're saying they're going to beat 611, they're not going to beat it by 1 second. I'm willing to bet, and we can do a little bet here, kind of the Price is Right, of what time they're going to get. I'm gonna say they're gonna do sub 6. Like they're gonna hit like under 6.
I'll say 6.
You'll say 6. All right.
I'm
gonna go on. I'm gonna go 5 minutes 59 seconds.
You saw what set that 611 time?
What?
Like basically a Le Mans Porsche.
Yeah. That was the 956. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So like
yeah. But this is
I can see where
this is basically this has a carryover Formula One engine in it. This has an actual F1 engine in a car. Which is nutty.
I think anybody who decided to click and tune in to us is familiar with the Project One. I just think you need the balls the size of Bayonne to just come out and be like, hey.
Oh, and
by the way,
and also, and I know everybody out there. It's a little, they're a little divided on this topic, but Lewis Hamilton he helped design this car. He helped build it, like as in he is the fastest man in F1.
Yeah.
This car should be crazy fast. What would be super cool for them if they actually set the time with Lewis Hamilton in the Nürburgring. That would be kind of crazy, actually.
I think it'd be kind of I don't know if it's being.
I mean, it's usually they use test drivers for these things, but I think it'd be sick, like if the guy that helped develop this car actually set the craziest time at the Nürburgring.
I don't really think our boy Lewis Hamilton has more haters.
Yeah.
Like, he's got enough.
I
on his plate.
I mean, he likes accolades, so I mean, he could just add that on there.
Just saying.
4-time world champion.
We got enough.
Fastest guy in Germany.
We have enough Formula One or overall Mercedes hatred as it is.
I think it'd be the smartest thing for them from a marketing standpoint. I think it'd be crazy. They'd be crazy not to use him.
I'm just waiting to see one of those things on the road.
Yeah, no. I mean, it looks epic. It really does. Another epic car is the Valkyrie AMR Pro, which is they had a lot of track version of every car came out at Geneva this year.
Every small boy or girl that got a pencil and drew what looked to be circles with like a cereal box on them, they're becoming a real thing.
These are just manufacturers that aren't interested in going fast around the Nürburgring.
Well, hold on. Before you
got my sarcasm there, right? All right, let's make sure.
Shut up. All right, I liked you better with dad jokes, to be honest.
I may have some other ones
and puns. You got some puns in there?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm gonna surprise you with the dad jokes.
Oh, so is it too early to quit the show? Can I quit the show now?
Yeah, yeah. Right now, if you want. So the AMR Pro.
Hold on, because I have something to say. All right, what we're seeing now, okay, is big name manufacturer, the bosses, okay, taking off the leash, okay, on the engineers, on the scientists, on the stylists, there is a trend going on. We're seeing a lot of radical cars because there's no more guidelines. They're just letting loose, the GT40s of the world, having to build cars in secret and then seeing what it can do.
I like that.
I love that. But it's
basically
a testament.
It's basically like, if you want to give it a name, it's like just letting everybody run naked.
It's sticking it to the man, baby.
It's basically just letting them just take off your clothes and run down the block.
But we're going streaking! Yes!
They're streaking right now.
In the factory?
No.
That's
car manufacturers are streaking right now.
That's dangerous.
That's what they're doing.
Car manufacturer engineers are streaking right now.
Everyone.
The bosses.
Even the secretary.
Even the bosses?
No, everybody.
Oh, all right.
Accountants. Everybody's doing it.
Fucking,
it's a good time.
Lawsuits up the yin yang.
Yeah, well, everyone.
They got the money.
They make them sign.
They got the money.
They make them sign NDAs.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right.
So the Valkyrie, which is another. This is, I guess if you were to compare a car to this one, it would only be the Project One, because the Project One is a F1 developed road car. The Valkyrie is also an F1 developed road car. I'm not sure if everybody knows. Aston Martin is now the I guess the title sponsor for Red Bull Racing. They teamed up with Red Bull Racing to create the Valkyrie. This is the track version of the Valkyrie.
As if we needed one.
But I think it's cool. I think it's cool that that they're teaming up with Formula One, which is the pinnacle of motorsport, to make these cars. I think they look amazing. So the Valkyrie, I don't know. They haven't made any claims that they're going to have the fastest car at the Nürburgring, but I mean the car looks epic. I'm glad that Aston Martin is doing some cool things. They had kind of been a little boring for a while, even though the James Bond Aston Martin era is kind of dead. So
the DB line is not. The DB11 is intense.
The DB11 looks
nice,
nice, but you don't see a lot of people buying those cars. I mean, it's like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think they're beautiful. They do have a depreciation issue, just like the McLarens do, where they lose a lot of value very quickly. So people are a little apprehensive when they go buy one.
Right.
But I think Aston makes some beautiful cars.
I personally think my breath was just ejected out of my soul, basically, when the Vulcan came out.
Oh, yeah, the Vulcan's
That
cool.
is a ridiculous car.
But this is much faster than the Vulcan.
Correct, but aesthetically, I still want to see a car with immense power, not spaceships. We're comparing spaceships now.
Well, this has the 1-to-1, what they call the Holy Grail ratio, which is 1 horsepower per kilogram.
Right.
So it should be really fast. How fast? We shall see.
Question: will me in that car after eating McDonald's throw out the 1-to-1?
Yeah, you'll throw off the whole 1-to-1 ratio.
All right, so no McDonald's.
Yeah, no, you gotta be like a. I mean, you're gonna have to be like a Formula One race car driver that weighs like 30 pounds to not throw it off. So
you're fast for like months and then shrink.
Yeah, it's not gonna be for the obese crowd. No. So
for all my pudgy people.
Yeah, Valkyrie's not for you.
We're here for you.
So I mean, you're still gonna set a fat last time.
You're gonna set a fat ass.
Yeah,
we're gonna set a fat ass.
A flat lap time. All right.
We're setting a fat ass in the 1-to-1.
All right. Well, moving right along.
Was this coffee?
So
you have Irish coffee this morning?
So
Jesus.
We talked about aerodynamics earlier.
Yes.
Crazy, cool, never been seen before. As far as I've never seen it before. I don't think you've ever seen it before.
No.
The Zenvo TSR-S has one of the craziest rear wings that I've ever seen in my life.
Hold on. Zenvo's back, baby. Oh, yeah.
Very
nice. Hasn't changed, like, look-wise, not so much.
No. I'm just going to talk about the spoiler. I think the car's cool. I'm not convinced on Zenvo yet, but it looks nice. I don't know.
Conventional.
I just don't know where they fit in. Like, where do they fit in with all these other cars?
We literally are in a period of car world where anything you put a gerbil skin car on wheels and
no,
it's perfect.
This is good. These are like multi-million-dollar cars. So it's like basically like their market is like Dubai, where it's just like, okay, I have $100 billion and I don't care. I'm going to buy 10 for stocking stuffers.
All right. Okay. So the 6x6 is pretty much a Dubai car, and there's one here on Bird Road.
No. Okay. So you're comparing a $600,000 truck.
No. Just the outlandish, like,
yeah.
Where,
no,
why?
I'm saying the market of like this car doesn't achieve anything. It just looks good.
Right. There's cars out there that aren't 310 miles an hour. They're just standard 200 mile an hour cars.
I guess.
Notice how I said that. This is the mindset that we're in now. The 200 miles an hour is slow.
Yeah, not for me.
No, I don't know. Yeah, no. Anything past 110, I'm shit bricks.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, not 110.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's a
170.
150 and above.
170 will get the butthole to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
so. We'll see. When I pick up the GT3 in Germany, I'll be on the Autobahn. So
I better get a picture or video.
I'll let you know what it tops out at. How about that?
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to let us all know?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe we can set up, while I'm over there, maybe we can set up
No, man. It'll be my birthday. All right? So I'll be somewhere else.
I don't know. I don't remember when your birthday was.
Prick.
Oh.
All
right, so moving right along, there was a lot of concept cars as well that came out.
Touching base on something similar to the Zenvo a small itty bitty company came out in Geneva called the Corbellati.
Not interested.
I'm talking.
All
so,
right. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
So they came out with something called a missile, which for people like me who like the vintage everything in life, I don't like this modern man sitting next to me.
So North Korea is going to buy a bunch of these.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
All right. Just
Yes.
making sure.
Yes. Yes. So they came out with a car called the Missile. It's 1,800 horsepower, conventional. There's no electronics. There's no battery, anything. No hybrid. Okay. It is a 9-liter engine. I did say 9. Okay. 9.0. It's gonna have a couple turbos, maybe 4. I'm not sure. Set to top out at 310 miles an hour. So it's an option for the person who wants to go deaf in the ear, like myself. And not, and feel everything on the road. And if you are an, I guess, addict for the 1960s, 50s racing in Le Mans, you get that feel with this car. This car is, to me,
Le Mans.
yes, Le Mans.
Not Le Mans.
It's Le Mans.
Le Mans is probably a club down here in South Beach somewhere.
We do have American, people who are trying to get into cars, and maybe they need the correction. So it's not Le Mans, guys. It's Le Mans.
It's not Le Mans.
Le Mans.
It's Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
Yeah, you have to say
Yeah.
it like that too, because
Yeah.
it won't work out normally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's aerodynamic properties. There's a lot of things to help assist. So it's not all traditional, but I think it looks amazing. I think you would agree. It's something to be said. I mean, it's not obviously not a modern take. It is a modern take in some sense, headlights, things like that, and it's molded in a certain way, but you still get that vintage feel, which I love and adore, and that sound must be, I'd leave everything. Girlfriend,
you definitely have more of
house, you name it. I'd leave everything.
I mean, maybe we can get a group rate, and we can sell.
You think?
We can sell.
If we got rid of everything?
Stephanie Michelle. Yeah.
You think they?
Yeah.
You think there's a market out there? They're very demanding women.
I think there's definitely a market. I mean, we'll
gloss it.
we got to reach out to the global market
All
for
right.
sure. Yeah.
All right.
So
Will North Korea buy them?
I think North Korea's into missiles right now. I don't think they're really buying too many women. So.
I gotta.
But
ask.
hey, we'll ask.
I gotta ask.
So that pretty much wraps up our Geneva segment, which it replaces. Usually we do Daily Drive, which is our current events. But there's so much coming out of Geneva that
we can be here for episodes.
We can actually keep talking about this, but we don't want to.
You're bored of us.
We don't want you guys want to shoot yourselves.
I could see
now,
that.
so I didn't want you to have to do it.
You to think it's impossible for us to see the noose next to you because this is
Correct.
just
Yes.
you wanna.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean that's pretty
Right.
much the point of the show.
Just get to it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, getting into our head-to-head segment, where we typically discuss cars of any era and why either of us thinks one is better than the other.
Right.
I think it was fitting since we had the Rimac CTwo come out of Geneva this week.
Now I'm here to correct you. Is it Rimac?
Rimac.
Rimac.
They're from somewhere in Eastern Europe.
It's not Swedish or anything.
Nah, it's. I can't.
Forgive us. We're
Yeah.
not that smart.
I can't remember where he's from. He hasn't made enough cars yet.
Okay.
It's
Whatever.
some Eastern European country. I don't remember the name right now.
However you want to say it.
either way.
It's fine with everyone.
Yeah.
Us. Doesn't matter.
Rimac is
Not
the way.
him,
The Rimac is how I've heard it said.
The Rimac.
Yeah,
Right.
Rimac.
Okay, go.
So, they came out with a car called the C2, which is a successor to the Rimac 1.
Right.
I thought it'd be fitting to compare this to the Tesla Roadster. They have very similar. They have a similar benchmark. The price point is not anywhere near the same. I think the Rimac has a lot more tech than the Tesla does. Although the Tesla, it seems 0 to 60 times. I think Tesla's 1.9. This one's 1. The Rimac's 1.8. Horsepower and figures are about the same. Rimac was able to use less battery cells than Tesla was. I don't know that.
That must be the Croatian way.
I guess that. I mean, that's good for the environment. Less. I got to find some pros to this.
You saw how I put that?
Yeah.
I plugged in where they're from, so you can
Where?
so they won't be.
Where are they from?
Croatia.
Don't care.
Wow.
So, what do you think? I mean, we're for the record, we're not huge electric car fans. We support what they're trying to do. Obviously, these particular 2 electric cars are not trying to save the environment. They're trying to go as fast as possible.
I prefer, and I could be alone on this, I do prefer the smell of brakes, clutch, gas, tires to an electrical fire.
So what you're saying is you prefer to kill polar bears.
I like polar bears. But I love
Apparently
cars. I love cars.
Apparently not. Apparently you hate them. Apparently you hate hate polar bears.
I don't.
Yeah.
We're not talking about me. This is car about shows.
All right. So back to the cars.
Do you want to interview me later?
We could do like a
1-to-1.
No,
60
we could
minutes?
do like a, you know how like Bill Maher does like the what is it called? The extra. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care. All right. So what's the Rimac? Okay. I mean, yes, there's a side of me that's like, you know what, electric cars, it seems to be something that's here to stay. We can't get rid of them. Before, we used to kind of like dust them under the carpet and be like, whatever, we're going to make these gas cars again. But it's something that's with us. Obviously, it's becoming more and more foolproof to where we can't be like, yeah, but this and but that. I'm just never going to be interested in one because to me, it's not something that I would like. Yes, they're nice and the whole 9 yards, but I like engine noise. I like ceramic brake squeals. I like clutches. I like gear changes. The sensation you get from that is kind of lost when it comes to a car that just light speed at all times when you put your foot down.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the gradual like sensation of you going 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a little torn because I mean, I had a Model X P90D with the ludicrous mode. I mean, you've been in that, or you were in that.
It's
I don't have it
insane.
anymore. You were
It's
in
insane.
that. The sensation you get from 0 to 30, there is no. I mean, you cannot get that sensation from any gas car that I've ever been to,
right?
Or been in.
No, yeah, of course.
It's like it like tickles the inside of your body, which is crazy. Like the forces, the G force that you get from 0 to 30 is crazy.
Yeah.
0 to 60, from 30 to 60, I would say you can get that from a lot of other cars, but that initial jump off the line,
nuts.
it's insane.
Yeah, no. The torque is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think for a daily driver, I think those cars are okay, but I think that when you're trying to go really fast, you want a little bit more than just to have a fast lap time. You want the emotion of the sounds of, you want to hear the engine noises. You want to smell fuel. You want to, you want to smell transmission, clutch. That's all. Yeah. It's all part of the sensory experience of racing a car and going fast.
Revving your engine. I do that from work to home, and then as soon as I get out, I smell like the rims to get like just the dust on me and. Yeah.
No, and the AMG, I'm in Sport Plus like more than I'm in comfort mode. So.
Right, terrorizing people.
Yeah, and I just want to downshift and hear the crackle and pops.
I've got it to a point where my better half thinks that I'm having relations with a car.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that she thought you were an idiot.
Oh well, I think that's a given, right?
Oh, okay.
If I'm an idiot, you're moving on.
So I mean, between these two cars, I mean, I'm gonna give it to the Rimac. The Rimac, yes, Rimac. I'm gonna give it to the Rimac on this one. I think it's the better car. The only upside to me, the upsides on the Tesla Roadster to me are: 1, it's a lot cheaper. 2, it has a targa top that you could take off, so it's kind of a convertible.
3, kind of touching on what you said about the fastest people want to buy the fastest car or whatever because of that staple. It is going to be a car on Mars.
Yeah.
So
well, the old one, not this one.
Well, whatever. Yeah. But people are going to be like, well, I got to have it because of that.
That and they do have something going for them as well, which is if you run out of juice on the Rimac, you're pretty much SOL. Because there is absolutely no fast charging network around the U.S. or at least nothing that charges as fast as the Tesla supercharging stations anywhere in the world.
Right.
So you're not taking any long trips in this car.
It'll be from here to the supermarket and maybe a date or dinner.
Yeah.
Nothing too insane, right?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, that pretty much, I think we're in agreement that the Rimac is the better car, but not... It's the better car, but you won't be driving it as much.
I think,
Does that make any sense?
I respect the craftsmanship in that car. There's just some subtle touches. For example, the more towards the cockpit of the car, you might notice that the fire extinguisher is now being secured by a leather band.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you could tell that, by looking at this band, it was a nice cow. The cow was nice. It's very mature. Nothing, no funny business whatsoever on this band.
Yeah, no, it's it's the homage to Richard Hammond burning down one of their initial cars, or at least their first.
Failing to stop, was it? Did the first Rimac not have brakes? Is that what the problem was?
I think his didn't have. It was a Richard Hammond edition.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be crashed.
Short and fast.
Yeah. So Rimac in there. You know what I do like about them? They have a sense of humor.
Yes.
Which sometimes is lacking from car manufacturers.
Yes.
Especially German ones are very serious.
So what did it? What did the cow strip have on it?
Well, they put a fire extinguisher in there now, which wasn't in the other model. I think because of Richard Hammond. So
thank you.
They
Richard.
put one in there which has a leather strap that says
in case of hill climb.
In case of hill climb, fire extinguisher, which is hilarious. I mean, just
to the point where Richard Hammond had to come out and express and acknowledge the fact that he is happy to see his take, or I want to say his donation to the advancement of the car itself.
Yeah, he basically said that he's happy that he's influenced the design of a car.
Right.
So, which he pretty much has, because I don't think that car would have had a fire extinguisher if he had not burned the other one down.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, all right. Moving into our But Why segment. This is a segment where we discuss crazy things happening in the car world and why people are doing them. I think we have to discuss Alonso's McLaren breaking down and testing. And before any of you guys say anything, it was not Honda's fault this time. Because if you follow this, and if you don't, we're going to give you a little bit of insight.
The scoop.
McLaren 2 seasons ago decided they were ditching the Mercedes engine, which is crazy to me, because they said that if they're going to have a championship winning car, they have to have their own, or they have to go with another manufacturer. They didn't feel that Renault, Mercedes, or Ferrari had the package that they wanted, so they brought Honda back in to relive the glory days of the Senna Prost era, when they were partnered up with Honda. Obviously, these are different times. Some may say a turbo engine's a turbo engine. It isn't. This back then they were V8 single turbo. Oof. These are V6. It's a V6 single turbo, but it actually has a second turbo which is used to regenerate power.
Speak on it, brother.
So it's a whole different package. Honda has been struggling like you wouldn't believe in the last 2 seasons. Finally, actually the last 3 seasons, McLaren said, hey, this is not working out for us. We're going in another direction. So we're going to go with Renault. And then since F1 has Honda as a manufacturer, someone had to take Honda. So Toro Rosso now
you're describing Honda like the last kid to get picked like kickball.
They are the last kid to get picked. I mean, when you have the most retirements of any manufacturer in a season, you are the last kid to get picked, in the kickball game or any game really.
It sucks.
So yeah, to say the least, they've had a rough go at their reinvention or whatever you want to call it into Formula One. So McLaren now has Renault. So everybody's like, okay, Renault has been super reliable. They should be good to go. I mean, they may not be the fastest out there, but they should at least finish most of their races.
Yeah,
they should at least finish races. Tragedy struck again.
I hate that we're talking about.
I just think, I don't want to say it's not Alonso because he doesn't make the car go bad. So I think the blame is McLaren. There's something wrong with the McLaren car. Their car, I think it was lap 46 of testing. Just something happened. So one of the interviewers, the car broke down. He pulled over. It was over. One of the interviewers asked Alonso if he's like, obviously the same thing we're talking about right now. This must be very frustrating for you. You have a new engine in the car, new engine provider, and this happens. And Alonso gave an answer that I wish he was more honest, because he was like, well, I'd rather find out these problems now than during the race. But no one else was having those issues. So, man, I really hope this was a one-off, because if not, again,
I want to say that that's going to be attributed to the fact that it is a new engine. Yes, it's a new combo between engine and manufacturer, and so
he's trying everything. Like I realized that he did the Rolex 24 down in Daytona.
That was nice.
He did the Indy 500. He's trying all these different types of motorsport, because I think that he's trying to find some kind of exit strategy. If this doesn't work out this year, I think he's like, okay, I'm out of here.
For those of you who think we're speaking Japanese, Alonso is like the kid who keeps getting set up for the date, and then the woman never shows up. So he just keeps getting let down. That was me not too long ago.
Yeah, he just hasn't made the right moves. I'm sure that he would have gotten picked up by somebody else, or maybe he could have stayed at Ferrari and he would have been a little bit more competitive, like he says. So the only thing I can say to him is, hostias, hombre,
Pastillo.
¿Qué está pasando? Tienes que irte de este equipo. Es una mierda.
Ya retírate, pues hombre.
For you guys who don't speak Spanish, we're basically just telling him that he's fucking up and he needs to.
We're saying retire.
He needs to get out of there.
Find another profession.
So, yes, he needs to.
Rimac.
It's not working out.
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
So
I think that's pretty much it. Alonso. God, I hope that was just a one-off. I really everyone in the F1 world is rooting for this guy. I mean, because he's a great guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's obvious. He's a world champion. He's a great driver, but God, has he picked the wrong? He leaves Ferrari. Ferrari starts winning.
Yeah.
And he goes to this team that's just like it's just not working out.
Wait, so if he would have left McLaren Honda earlier, they would have had a chance.
Dude,
it might just be the driver, man.
He could have had Bottas' seat probably if he would have worked things out correctly. He could have been racing against Lewis like they did back when they were both at McLaren.
Right.
Because they were teammates back in the day.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm super excited. It's 12 days away from the Australian GP.
Yes.
Oh, it feels like it's been 10 years. Yeah, it's almost game time. So
tired of watching, Netflix marathons, basically.
Yeah. I need something.
We need drama. We need, racing.
Yes.
Pilots being frustrated.
Yes.
Manufacturers being frustrated.
Team radio.
We
need people yelling and screaming on team radio.
What else?
That's it, man. That's all we got for you guys today. Thank you for joining Shootin The Shift. I'm Willie.
And I'm Brian.
And that's that.